All right, let's talk about something super specific today. What on earth happens when your favorite navel piercing meets a growing baby bump? We're going to cut through all the myths and get right down to the simple mechanical truth of it.
So, you're pregnant. Congratulations. And you've got this navel piercing you've probably had for years, and you absolutely love it. And now you're wondering, what do I do? Can I keep it in? Do I have to say goodbye to it? Let's figure this out.
Okay, and right off the bat, this is the single most important thing to understand. The challenge you're up against isn't really a health risk in the way you might be thinking. Nope, it's actually a mechanical problem. We're talking physics, we're talking engineering.
What we've got here is a conflict between a body that's constantly changing and growing and a piece of jewelry that's, well, static and rigid. It's a classic mechanical mismatch. And once you get that, finding the solution becomes a whole lot easier.
Just think about your typical navel ring for a second. It's a piece of metal, right? It's got a very specific curve, a very specific length. And it was designed perfectly for stable tissue that isn't changing. But let's be real. Stable is probably the last word you'd use to describe your belly during pregnancy. So, what actually happens when you keep that rigid piece of metal in a body that's doing something so incredibly dynamic? Well, the mechanics they don't work anymore. And that's where the real risks to your piercing come in. First up, as your skin stretches, that little metal bar, which can't stretch, right? It starts creating some serious pressure. Your body feels that stress and basically goes, whoa, what is this thing? And it does what it's programmed to do. It starts trying to push that foreign object out. They call this migration. If it goes too far, you get rejection, and that can permanently destroy the piercing. And on top of all that, it just starts to hurt a lot. This is such a perfect way to picture the physics of what's happening. The jewelry literally becomes a lever. Your piercing is the fulcrum, the pivot point, and as your skin stretches away, that bar just pries against it. Once you see it that way, you can totally understand why a rigid bar is just not going to work. But hey, if the problem is mechanical, that means the solution is mechanical too. This isn't about giving up on your piercing. It's about switching to a smarter material that's actually engineered to work with your body, not fight against it. And this right here, this is the aha moment. Just look at this side by side. A metal bar, it's a fixed length. BioFlex, you can trim it to whatever length you need. Metal's rigid, BioFlex is, well, flexible. It's way lighter and it won't mess with any medical scans. I mean, come on. In every single category that actually matters when you're pregnant, this engineered material is the hands-down winner. And that's the key takeaway here. This isn't just some marketing gimmick, a pregnancy-friendly accessory. No, this is a purpose-built tool. It was designed from the ground up to solve a very specific engineering problem using material science. So let's break it down. Each feature here directly solves one of those problems we just talked about. Feeling too much pressure? This stuff flexes. Is your belly getting bigger? You just trim it to the perfect length. Worried about weight pulling on the tissue? It's basically weightless. It is, simply put, the right tool for the job. Okay, so what does this look like in the real world? The best part about an adaptable solution is that it adapts right along with you through every single stage of your pregnancy. The source material gives us this awesome little roadmap. You make the switch early, in that first trimester, before the pressure even starts to build. As you grow, you just adjust the length of the bar. Then, after the baby arrives, you can shorten it as you heal, right up until you're ready to pop your original jewelry back in. It's simple, it's elegant, and it works. So when you boil it all down, it really comes down to this. You have a choice. And because we understand the mechanics now, it's a simple one, and it's a choice that puts you back in control. And listen, this is so important because it explains why so many people get such conflicting advice. The chief engineer behind this stuff, Patrick Poli, he points out that your OBGYN is a medical expert, not a piercing expert. So their advice might be to just take it out to avoid any possible risk. But a professional piercer, they understand the materials, they get the mechanics. This slide just lays it all out, doesn't it? The old advice could mean losing your piercing forever. The new knowledge, though, that means you can safely keep something you love. It's really all about bridging that knowledge gap for yourself. Let's just hit these big questions head on. When should you switch? The sooner the better. Can you do it yourself? Yup, it's that easy. And the most important one, is it safe? Absolutely. This is certified implant-grade material. It's literally designed to be safely inside the human body. Look, if you remember only one thing from all this, let it be this right here. The risk is mechanical, and so the solution is mechanical. It really is that simple.
And that solution? It all comes down to one single, simple action.
Just one quick trip to a professional piercer to make one easy switch. That is all that's standing between you keeping your piercing or you potentially losing it for good. And that really brings us to the final question, doesn't it? Now that you understand the mechanics of it, why would you risk losing a piercing you love when the fix is this simple? The risk is real, but the solution, it's engineered, it's effective, and it's just so wonderfully easy.